Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you can be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch, twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Yeah, how was your weekend?
Busy. I put a bunk bed together. How about yours?
It was good. I did a bunch of stuff. I went on the first, I went to a restaurant for the first time in a long time, since the pandemic started. So I had to be social again.
Yeah.
So that I did that. I finished Dead Space, and I watched
That's an accomplishment.
This morning I watched Talknshopamania 2, so I'm going to review that later in the show. I'm assuming you didn't get a chance to watch that. You were gone.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I look forward to checking it out at some juncture, yes.
Well, I'll talk about it, bro. I'll give you the scoop on it.
There you go.
Briefly later on in today's show. But, of course, this is news beef, and then we're going to answer some of y'all friendos' questions. But let's get into it, Larson. What's in the news?
So, of course, we on Friday, late Friday afternoon, we did an emergency news brief about Zelina Vega being released by WWE, and after that, several reports have sprung up offering some potential details on what led to her parting ways with the company. PW Insider reports that, quote, multiple WWE sources have confirmed to PW Insider that this was issued on Friday, today's release of Zelina Vega was fallout from last month's edict that talents dropped their relationship with third-party entities such as Twitch, Cameo, etc., in favor of World Wrestling Entertainment spearheading those relationships and fielding talents out as part of their contractual duties. They continue. WWE sources indicated that Vega had been extremely vocal about maintaining her Twitch account after the edict had been handed down. That led to some WWE talents who reached out to PW Insider tonight wondering if she had been released to, quote, send a message to everyone else to make sure they follow the company's request regarding third-party entities. On a recent episode of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer added some additional information per chance. These transcripts are from wrestlingnews.co. So essentially, as everyone knows, this is Dave. Do you want to do your Dave voice for this, Steve?
No, but I'll read it if you want.
All right, go ahead.
So I'm really tempted to do my Dave Meltzer, but I'm not going to.
Well, you can start, and then if you don't want to, you don't have to.
Nah. So he said, so essentially, as everyone knows, the talent was given a time frame to get rid of their Twitch and Cameo accounts. During that time frame, Zelina Vega didn't get rid of it, and she opened an OnlyFans account. She doubled down. That's awesome. Now, just to clarify here, when you say OnlyFans, there are more things for OnlyFans than pornography. Hers was a cosplay OnlyFans account.
Correct.
So he continues. The backstory on this, and it's funny because one person kind of told me when the thing went down that there are a couple of women that are making more money with their social media than they are making with WWE, and they're going to be really interesting, and one of those was Zelina Vega. On her Twitch, she's making a lot of money, and so it's like, what do you do in that situation? And I think she made her choice, and they had to fire her, and then right before it got out that she was fired, she made a tweet about how she supports unionization, which she has said before. I mean, it's not like that's the first time she said that, and that did play into some of it. Although I thought she was fired, she made a tweet about how she supported. Right before it got out that she was fired, she made a tweet. Yeah, so she was fired prior to that. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then today, Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso is reporting that, quote, WWE confirmed to Sports Illustrated that Trinidad, that's Zelina Vega's, I believe her shoot name is Thea Trinidad. At least it's one name she wrestled under prior to WWE.
I'll double check that.
All right. Was terminated for breaching her contract while mentioning that WWE felt, quote, directly challenged when Vega opened an OnlyFans account earlier this month. Sports Illustrated adds, quote, is Thea?
It's Thea, yeah.
Okay. I thought so. But
now it's budging.
More from SI here. WWE, specifically McMahon, considered this a breach of contract and responded by terminating Trinidad's contract. Sources close to WWE informed Sports Illustrated that following discussions regarding Twitch, upper management felt Trinidad boxed them into a difficult situation by opening the OnlyFans account. As unpopular as this new policy is among talent, Trinidad's dismissal serves as a sobering reminder that the new policy is going to be strictly enforced. So essentially, what PW Insider said, she was fired for WWE to show off, hey, we're serious about this, don't do it.
Yeah.
This is an interesting little bit because I think we had speculated on something along these lines, but I don't know if it had actually been reported specifically. This is something else that Barrasso notes. He says, quote, multiple active WWE superstars had a presence on Twitch, including AJ Styles and Cesaro. One option for talent to remain on sites like Twitch was to share their account with WWE and make only a fraction of the profits while receiving a significant portion. Unsurprisingly, this has not been a well-received option.
Hold on, is there something missing there? It says and make only a fraction of the profit with receiving a significant portion. It was with WWE receiving a significant portion?
That's not clear whether it's. Yeah, I don't know about that.
I don't know who's making the significant amount or who's making the fraction.
Clear.
That needs to be made. We don't know which one's which.
I would assume, just based on the phrasing, I would think WWE would receive a significant portion.
That's what I mean. Reading just from this, it seems like WWE is missing from the part.
I think we had heard something to that extent. That might be part of the thing. That WWE wanted to wrap up their talents' Twitch accounts into their umbrella and take a cut. Yeah. I don't recall if that had been more or less directly said.
Yeah,
to be the case.
Yeah, there was also the thing about them. You get this money, but it counts against your downside guarantee. But again, that hasn't really been like confirmed or anything. Yeah, I mean the thing about making more money off of social media. One interesting thing that we really haven't come across is wrestling. Like, so a lot of the especially in the case of the female wrestlers, they have a massive Instagram presence. Well, you can make a lot of money on Instagram being an influencer, selling stuff.
Lana, that's when, early on when this whole third-party thing came down, there was rumors that Lana did like an integration for an energy drink or something on her Instagram.
Right.
And that's what kind of started this whole thing. That's since, I think, been kind of denied, but, just to use that as an example of, a WWE talent using their Instagram as an option for monetization of their content.
Yeah. And so who knows if that's going to play into this as well. I mean, if they start telling them to lock down their Instagrams, maybe they already have. I don't know. Maybe they're not allowed to make money that way. I don't know. I mean, look, it all depends on each wrestler has to take a look at their own individual situations. If one of these wrestlers looks at their Twitch situation and says, you know what, I'm not making a ton of money off this. I'm making more money being a wrestler. I mean, it sucks because like you got to make some hard decisions, but I'm also curious, like wrestlers are going to be, this is going to be one of those things going forward, just like the schedule thing, that wrestlers, if WWE really wants them, and they have open offers from AEW, New Japan, wrestlers are going to have to make those decisions. Well, I've always wanted to be a WWE person. I've always wanted to be a WWE superstar. Does that matter more than the freedom that I'm giving up to do this? Because evidently in the contracts, WWE is allowed to basically do whatever they want. I mean, it seems to be, and it wouldn't surprise me, dude. Bruce Pritchard in one of those, I forget, I think it was the podcast where they were talking about, oh man, it was just the tip of my tongue. We're talking about, it was one back in the day when the Radicals came over from WCW. And I think it's still true to this day. Vince doesn't like dealing with agents. He likes to deal directly with the wrestlers. Well, guess what? Vince is going to have all the leverage then. Yep. And that's probably why he does that. Yep. Because he doesn't want hey, I'm going to tell you how much you're worth. You're not going to negotiate with me. I mean, look at Rey Mysterio, big name. His kid's a main eventer. Yeah. I mean, so he is a singular figure. He's probably like the most well-known luchador since El Santo. But if talent wars between companies ramp up again, then you might see WWE ease up. Like, this is a brand new landscape here.
It really is. And also, there's Andrew Yang, who has said that it should, which has now come to pass, Biden win the election, that he would hope that he would be in a position to affect some degree of change as far as WWE wrestlers being labeled as independent contractors when by every other conceivable measure they are not. And another aspect of it, I guess we can get into now, is pro wrestlers unionizing. So, of course, Vega, after she was released, but before it was publicly known, she tweeted out, "I support unionization." And then Screen Actor Guild President Gabrielle Carteris tweeted to her saying, quote, "Hey, Zelina Vega, thanks for standing strong for labor solidarity. I support you." And then asked Vega to email her. So John Alba, who's been doing a lot of awesome work on all sorts of stories, reached out to Carteris, who responded with the following statement, quote, "Wrestling is as much about media as it is about sports, and we are going to directly engage with members of this profession to help find ways for them to protect themselves. As more people reinvest in unions, as more working people are harassed by employers who don't want to protect them, SAG-AFTRA is committed to doing what we can do to help professional wrestlers secure the protections they deserve."
Yeah.
So, that's pretty huge.
Yeah, that is actually really huge. So, yeah, I wonder. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I see a lot of people in chat saying, well, if Andrew Yang's not part of the cabinet, XYZ, how much can he do? If a prominent politician is raising this issue publicly, sometimes that's all that matters. Sometimes that's all that needs to happen. There doesn't have to be congressional hearings for things to change.
It doesn't have to be that. I mean, it's just sometimes the public pressure is enough for a company, in this case WWE, to reverse course. Now, if it's a situation where Vince feels like he's on the precipice of facing a significant push from his talents to unionize, that he might think, oh, if I relax on some of this stuff that I'm really pushing, then maybe they'll drop it. You know, that is entirely possible. That if he backtracks on the Twitch and Cameo thing, maybe in an effort in his mind to push back against unionization efforts and maybe placating wrestlers enough so they don't continue to push forward the unionization stuff, maybe he'll reverse course on that. Maybe that'll affect some degree of change. Just the threat of unionization will, either force his hand to provide his independent contractors with true independent contractor status, or hire them as employees, which they are for all intents and purposes already.
Yeah. I don't know. It's funny because there are a lot of interesting things happening in labor law these days. I mean, we saw what happened here in California just with the elections and the proposition, how, Uber and Lyft poured $200 million into a campaign to, I mean, the ramifications of that are still going to be, are going to be, we're going to be figuring out that stuff. I'm not an expert on labor law, so
nor am I. I don't. And like I've had some. I did a short film years ago, like 15 years ago. So I had some very minor dealings in terms of SAG actors and the process you have to go through. And there back then, 15 years ago, there were various tiers that you as a filmmaker could apply for and get Screen Actor Guild talent. Even if you weren't a huge blockbuster presentation, So, I mean, in that sense, I don't know if that's still the case. I don't know how well it would apply to pro wrestling, but considering there's filmmakers of all various budgets, huge budgets and small budgets and everywhere in between, there might be, again, I could be completely off base, might be some correlation, even if it's just minor, between that and wrestling promotions, large and small.
Yeah.
And their ability to employ talent, whether they're union talent or not.
Yeah. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, forhims.com. Hey, Larson. Is that hairline of yours moving backwards? Because 66% of men start losing their hair by the age of 35. But I'm here to tell you that the best time to prevent even more hair loss is to do something right now while you still have some follicles on that dome of yours.
Well, Steve, thanks to the wonders of science, hair loss can be optional. It's time to write a new chapter, one where you have hair. Hims helps guys be the best versions of themselves with FDA-approved products to treat hair loss.
Yeah, Hims connects you with licensed medical professionals online. All you got to do is answer a few questions to see if FDA-approved hair loss treatments are right for you. If approved, products are shipped directly to your door. That means you can say goodbye to awkward in-person doctor's visits and long pharmacy lines.
Today, Hims is giving you their best offer yet. If you're not happy with the results after 90 days, Hims will give you a full refund. And right now, Going in Raw listeners can get their first visit absolutely free. go to forhims.com/GIR. That's forhims.com/GIR.
Full refund of price paid available for first 90-day supply. Refund requests must be made between 90 and 180 days after product shipment delivered. Prescription products require an online consultation with a medical professional who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Remember, friendos, that's forhims.com/GIR.
So, amidst the aftermath of Zelina's release on Friday, WrestleVotes addressed the status of her husband, Aleister Black, noting, quote, "There's a bit more behind the scenes to the Zelina Vega release. Frustration for both sides is an understatement. While it can't be directly tied to today's news," it's on Friday again, "Aleister Black recently requested to move back to NXT and was denied. Dissension amongst the party involved."
I want to go back.
I mean, if no other reason, I'm assuming he won't go back to NXT because they're not doing anything with him on main roster.
That would seem to be the big
add to that the
issue.
Frustration I'm sure that he's feeling about the Twitch situation.
Yeah.
And whether, he asked for a request back to NXT before or after Zelina was released.
Mm-hmm.
They're not using me. I can't Twitch now. You just let go of my wife. I mean, I want out of here just seems like a logical next step after all those things.
Yeah, it really does, yeah. I mean, the not using him is enough,
I know.
I imagine he's a happy wife, happy life kind of guy. I mean, what does he care about twitching? But, she seemed to really be. I mean,
well,
when
he was
you
involved. I mean,
no, he was totally involved.
Yeah.
He was. I don't know. Maybe it was his passion. But when you watch, any number of their streams and see that she was doing a lot of solo streams, just kind of stands the reason she was the driving force behind that stuff.
Definitely,
I could be totally wrong, but yeah, no, that dude, one of the biggest ball drops, if you will, I say, in NXT call-ups ever. It's ridiculous that they're not using that guy.
It's
at
been
all.
pretty bad.
It's been really stupid. Talking about really stupid, Talknshopamania 2 was this weekend. Then it was Friday night too. Idiots. What are they thinking? Opposite SmackDown? Huge numbers. No, hopefully it did really well. Rocky Romero and Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows were on our show last week to talk up Talknshopamania 2, and it was about as stupid as you figured it'd be. And I like that Rocky was the one who brought up how big the budget was this year. This time around.
His stuff in LA looked amazing.
I'm pretty sure the budget went exclusively to that.
I only saw little clips, but it looked really good.
It looked
really good.
It was filmed. It looked like Lucha Underground, and I think that's what they were kind of getting at. That's what they were sort of spoofing.
Yeah.
There. I mean, Taya was there, the show was ridiculous. My favorite, honestly, there was a lot of great bits, but my favorite was the real Nature Boy, Paul Lee, versus what was his name? George North, I think. And the funniest stuff is when the match is happening and there's really technically bad pro wrestling going on that I don't really know the ins and outs of because I've never been trained in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
But they're laughing about it out loud and talking about it. Paul Lee puts a headlock on George, and they start laughing about where his feet are. And they're like, that's not even a proper, headlock. Look at his feet. And I'm like,
his base is off, huh?
I have no idea where my feet would supposed to be.
That's funny.
But the fact that they're laughing at it makes me laugh. It was funny. Yeah, the death match was absolutely insane. You can tell that Rocky probably put in a ton of money for that. The rest of it was it was sort of like the first one. It was really, really stupid. The ball for a ball match was absolutely hilarious. I don't know. It's one of those things where, it only cost $15. This time it was like an hour and a half long. It was like longer than an hour and a half. It was pretty damn funny. I'm not really going to go through the beat for beat here thing, but and then of course they spoofed Evolution with Circumcision, where it was actually pretty genius because they got Paul Lee, of course, the real Nature Boy. I didn't know that Randy Orton had a brother who's a stand-up comedian who in the face looks exactly like Randy Orton. His name is Nathan Orton. And so he was playing Randy Orton's character in Evolution.
Oh my
and
gosh.
He goes up there. He goes up to like the second rope to do the thing, and he goes up there and he goes like that. It was, and then Mike Knox played Batista, and then this was genius. Mark Jindrak played Triple H.
Oh wow, that's good.
Good stuff. Really good stuff.
That is
good. So yeah, it's on Fight TV. I'd suggest everybody check it out for a good laugh. It's only $15. And Rocky Romero needs to make his budget back because it was like you could tell that he spent money on that.
Yeah. No, just because of the few clips, it looked fantastic. I want to try to find time to check it out this week. Really do. Something that we got to check out tonight. We're kind of obligated to Monday Night Raw. It's Raw's go home for Survivor Series. That's coming up Sunday. Of course, we'll do our customary live reaction stream. And I guess you have to discuss with Big Red potential punishment since this is one of the major 4 pay-per-views, Steve. It's probably the least amongst the major 4, but nonetheless, it's one of the major 4.
Yeah. So we got to do punishments.
You don't have to, but that's
no. It's Big 4. You're right. I sort of thought about that this weekend, and then I forgot thinking about it. So I will solicit ideas.
You have time. We don't have to do predictions until later in the week. So
yeah, I know. We'll get ideas from people and see what they have to say.
Very well. Let's talk about Raw, though. 2 matches announced, confirmed.
Oh, whoa, man. Jorge D says Steve has to bite a pint of ice cream if he loses. Well, if it's like a if it's a popsicle, ooh, just like a straight on, oh. But I don't know what you would have to do.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a coward like you. I can eat a popsicle. First up here, Drew McIntyre to challenge Randall Keith Orton in the WWE Championship rematch. Who wins?
Oh, Drew. Drew is totally going to get that title back.
Yeah, I didn't watch SmackDown yet, but based on what I read about it, they're really setting up for some sort of Drew Roman Reigns thing.
Even if you get on social media, it's clearly Drew versus Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. Like it's everything except for the title. They're treating that as if it's a formality at this point. There is no Randy Orton to be found on SmackDown to promote Survivor Series match. This is totally happening. They're probably going to do Orton versus Fiend at Survivor Series if there's room for it. Also, SmackDown was pretty solid last week. Yeah,
I read a recap of it. And it sounded pretty fun. And then also the New Day versus Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander of Hurt Business to challenge, competing in a Raw Tag Team Championship match.
Yeah, this one they did another thing. I hope that they're just sort of biding their time with Big E because they just did another backstage segment with him talking to the Street Profits about the New Day, emphasizing the fact that Big E was with the New Day and now he's not. And now he's just backstage taking money from people for doing silly things. Yeah. It was kind of, the segment was funny, but on the road to the Royal Rumble, we need to really start pushing Big E. I don't think the titles are going to change hands here, given that New Day already took a loss against Hurt Business, and that's just not really a dream match. New Day versus Street Profits. Nobody really cares about that. That's the match they care about. No, I'm sorry. Street Profits versus Hurt Business. Nobody cares about that. I want to see more about Team Raw, though, man. That's my jam right now. I like.
There's a rumored match, but I don't want to talk about it because
it was like spoiler territory.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. That's cool. All right. Before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Hawthorne. Hey, Larson.
Yeah.
With the holidays fast approaching, it's time to start thinking about holiday shopping. And whether you're treating yourself or shopping for someone else, finding the perfect gift is never easy.
But Hawthorne is making gift-giving fun and easy this holiday season. Hawthorne is a premium tailored personal care brand that's making it a breeze for guys to feel and smell their best.
First thing you do, you go over to hawthorne.co and you take a quiz where you can answer for yourself or whomever you're shopping for. It's really straightforward, and based on those answers, you'll either get some really cool personal care products for yourself or get to build personalized gifts for everyone on your shopping list.
Speaking of shopping for yourself, Hawthorne is a convenient way to get really high-quality products tailored for your specific needs. I got myself some awesome mint-scented body wash that's really refreshing, and some soothing hand lotion that keeps my hands from getting too dried out, especially during these cold winter months.
I got me some deodorant, some shampoo, and some hydrating face cleanser, all suited to my personal needs. And Hawthorne offers free shipping on your order and returns. And if you don't like your products, they'll even retailer them for you based on your feedback.
So get special offers for the holidays going on right now by visiting hawthorne.co. That's HAWTHORNE.co to check out their special holiday offers, hawthorne.co. Anyways, we want to answer some questions.
Yeah, let's answer some questions.
Wrestling Graham. Vince's friend at DC has given you access to an Area 51 time travel machine to see the championship reign play out as intended. Do you A, stop Rollins from powerbombing Kane to the table so he doesn't get hurt, or B, stop Seth from powerbombing Finn into the barricade? That's a good question.
I would stop Seth from powerbombing Finn into the barricade for a couple reasons. I think that Seth thing would have happened at some point anyways. The Finn thing really did seem to be a fluke. Like, that was just a bad luck. But Seth did that freaking buckle bomb or whatever it was he was doing. I think wasn't he trying to do a buckle bomb on Kane? Or was he taking him off?
He did a sunset flip power bomb of Kane to the table, and when he landed on his instep.
Oh, is that what it was?
Inwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason in my head I have a different. That's not shocking. Yeah. I don't know. I just get the feeling all the weight that he would. I mean, even doing he still does buckle bombs, and you're driving a lot of weight on your shoulders and running around like that. I just feel like that was inevitable, and he probably had to have that happen.
Thought anyways that so that was like a couple weeks before Survivor Series, and so they had a thing where Roman won the belt Survivor Series. Sheamus cashed in on him. Like, I remember reading back then, I could be way off, that Roman was going to just beat Seth for the belt at Survivor Series that year anyways. So
you're probably right.
Like
I think you're right about that. Yeah.
Thing.
Yeah.
I think Finn eventually was going to get destroyed by Brock, so Brock get the title. But nonetheless, we could have had, a several-month-long reign with Finn.
Yeah. Yeah. That would have been definitively probably the best NXT call-up of all time.
Yeah. Nate Shive, who in wrestling can make the best peach cobbler? That sounds really good.
I don't know who's good at cooking. I mean, Baron's good at cooking meats. Well, she's not in WWE anymore, but Tenille Dashwood had a show.
Oh, that's right.
She had a cooking show. So if the question is wrestling, then it's probably Tenille Dashwood.
Didn't Renee Young? She's got a cookbook coming out, so I'll say Renee Young.
That's a good answer, too.
Again, not WWE, but...
Juan Guerrero Jr., Mr. Triple Mania, says, book a completely bonkers match worthy of being the Triple Mania main event. Man, I don't even know... who's...
You combined Raiderius, which is like the tournament-based thing, but everybody's in there. It's like a gauntlet tournament type thing, Rumble type thing. But you also make that for the Mega Championship, so Kenny's in it. So when you win, not only you get that belt, you still get the giant sword. And so you have Kenny, you have Penta, you have Phoenix, you have Psycho Clown,
you
Taurus,
put Aerostar in that movie.
Aerostar,
he has to have
fall
a big
off,
fall,
all sorts of high things. You bring Dr. Wagner Jr. back, Blue Demon and his hammer. That's 8. So that's a good field. There you go.
Yeah.
And then also, if you're pinned or submitted, you gotta lose your mask.
Yeah, but that happens anyways.
Virtually.
Yeah, basically.
Easy.
Big Chris coming with the gifted subs to the community. Thank you so much. Afro Fofo, Dr. Steve Winters, Big Dog, Josh 83. Thank you so much for that.
And we also got Manateats with a sub as well. I'll also get that in there. I got a question here from Easy. Do you think in a non-pandemic setting, we would have gotten Survivor Series 2019 format with triple threat matches, or should that be the way here on out? I kind of feel like the only reason that one year they had NXT involved because they were pushing NXT on USA. NXT is kind of just doing what it's doing on USA. I know you've mentioned this, that essentially NXT on Wednesday exists not to best AEW in the ratings, but to siphon viewers away from AEW in the ratings so that AEW can't basically compete with Raw and SmackDown's numbers. I don't think WWE as a company or Vince has any interest in really involving NXT on a consistent basis in any of the main roster storylines.
if Vince wanted NXT at Survivor Series, he would put NXT at Survivor Series. The COVID thing is it's a good theory, but
yeah,
he would have made it happen. He would have made it happen. That dude's about to have 80,000 strong at WrestleMania. Regardless, he's gonna have it. It's gonna happen.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's a super spreader. Sean Lathrop, on a scale of 1 to 10, how hype would you be for a Drew Gulak versus Orange Cassidy match?
That could be fun.
He said Chikara Colony fans know why I ask. Yeah, like, I don't know, 5. They have history in those promotions. I don't know anything about that.
I'm not familiar with Chikara stuff. Nick, with both the tag and WWE titles on the line tonight, is it possible we see Hurt Business as new tag champs and The Miz cash in? No and no.
A Miz, no. I mean, Miz is gonna tease a cash in of some sort. He'll tease it. But they'll probably do the thing where they start to announce it and then they cut it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And no, I don't think the tag titles are not going to change hands. Panda Police Club, make an NFL offensive lineup.
Skill positions. So you got quarterback, 2 receivers, running back, and tight end.
Man, I moved into number 1 place.
I saw that.
For the Friendo Fantasy.
I saw that.
Very excited about that.
I'm trying to think of anybody in. Oh, Lance Archer was a college quarterback. He'll be the quarterback.
Oh, that's cool.
Wide receivers. They need to be fast, but also quick feet, so you can run good routes.
Bianca Belair.
Okay. Who else? Need 2 receivers.
Yeah, I don't know. Who else is fast? Montez Ford. Be a husband-wife receiver team.
There you go. Running back. Ricochet.
There you go.
Tight end.
Rob Gronkowski.
Good enough.
Okay. Bassy 26. Yeah. If you both were to have a 6-month period of booking a wrestling promotion starting today, given the circumstances of the world, which promotion would you choose and where would you lead the creative for it?
I mean, it's not exactly a promotion. It's a brand within a promotion, but I'd probably say Raw of the 3 WWE brands.
Why would you book Raw?
I mean, just to answer the question, I think AEW, they're fine. New Japan, they're fine.
Impact
seems to be doing good.
Wow. So you're saying that you taking over, you're going to go fix Raw. Okay.
Yeah, that's the idea.
All right. I would go. I would want to know what AEW seems to have a really lovely collaborative environment. I would say, hey, enough of that. No more freedom. It's my way or the highway. Here are very specific scripts for everybody to read. Very specific direction for how I'll give you line readings even. I would just completely WWE the process, but with me as the Vince. I would say, look, you gave me 6 months. All right, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And nobody would be allowed to be on Twitch. Taking that away, too.
Also, the ratings going in the toilet. Greg Morris. Aside from actually winning matches, how else do you build retribution? I mean, they got to win. That's part of it. They have to win.
They have to win.
And, part of it, too, is they got to stop being booked like chumps. Like, even if they don't win matches, like,
cause a little bit of chaos.
Like, some chaos and book them like they're actually threatening to some degree, because right now they're not.
They're not threatening at all. They need to cause some chaos.
Yes. Anthony Tobias, which wrestler would you take Black Friday shopping with you? I've never done it. I probably won't ever do it. But, I mean, it's got to be someone like Braun. No one's going to mess with you if you got Braun.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to think of like a more clever, like somebody who's good with like mosh pits.
Well, Seth then.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, he used to do the straight edge dancing type stuff.
Or Alexander Wolf.
Yeah, him too. Those are good answers. Yeah.
Yep.
Seth and Alexander
or the Headbangers.
Plus, Seth is the architect, so he could design the perfect plan. Because, I mean, that's one thing you have to be very strategic with Black Friday. You got to be strategic. You can't just go in there with brute force.
Mr. Biff Top Johnny, with what you've seen from the Iconics, do you think it's possible that Dirt Sheets got it wrong and Vince actually has high hopes for Billy Kay?
No, so here's the thing. the ones that we sort of funnel through going in Raw, like Fightful, stuff like that, even like Dave Meltzer, when they report on something, most of the time, especially like Sean Ross Sapp, I believe him in that information is true in the moment. But the old adage, things change, is completely true because we're dealing with Vince. I mean, when we're talking about this stuff, we're dealing with Vince McMahon, whose whims change on a moment. I completely and totally believe that Vince McMahon at one point saw a big single star in Peyton Royce, and she probably just got lost in the shuffle. He probably just said, yeah, break up the Iconics. We can make, I mean, maybe he saw her Instagram post of her bodybuilding stuff because she recently won some awards, like doing some bodybuilding stuff. Mm-hmm. And he was probably like, oh, wow. He's, Vince, he's a big bodybuilding guy. He was like, I could make a big star out of her. Why is she in a tag team? We don't do anything. I don't like tag team wrestling. So like, and then a day later or a day after the Iconics break up, he forgets about it.
Yep.
So then, where is she? She's on Raw, right? Yeah, she's on Raw.
And like a kind of a tag team with Lacey Evans.
So Raw Creative is scrambling to do stuff with the tag team stuff because that's where Shayna and I are doing, and it's pretty high profile stuff with Team Raw. So like, she just go, you got to put her in a tag team because we're doing tag team stuff now. Put her with Lacey Evans. She ain't doing nothing. And that's it. That's how it happens. And then meanwhile on SmackDown, the writers there see how much personality Billie Kay has, and of course they're going to use her.
Yep.
Of course.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think Vince has. I think that Vince just goes from moment to moment in his day. He likes different stuff, and then he says stuff, and people start to put that in motion. But then another moment happens,
and then it's gone. This all changes. Brad Seymour, with everything that went down with Zelina, do you think there is major significance in Sasha being credited using her real name in the newest episode of Mandalorian? No, she probably needs to use her real name for, speaking of the Screen Actors Guild, to get into that.
Yeah, so as opposed to Sasha Banks, which WWE owns.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, like, has there been a time in the past when...
I think even like when The Miz was in those Marine movies, he was credited as Mike Mizanin. Mizanin, yeah.
Has anybody besides like Hulk Hogan been credited? He brought Hulk Hogan. He owns Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he was Hulk Hogan before he was WWE.
Has anybody in WWE been credited
Mr.
as
Kennedy credited as when he was in that one movie?
I can look it up real quick.
Yeah.
It was Behind Enemy Lines Columbia? Is that what it was?
Something like that, yeah. I mean, was Dolph credited as Dolph
Doesn't
Ziggler?
John Cena claim that WWE owns John Cena?
What about Dolph? Wasn't he credited as Dolph Ziggler as opposed to Nick Nemeth when he did Countdown? But that's a WWE production. Maybe that's different. I don't know.
Okay, so according to the Wikipedia entry, he's credited as Mr. Kennedy, but I don't know. Usually it would say billed as. Let me look at IMDb.
But that was also a WWE production, right?
Yeah. I don't know what he was. It doesn't say on the cover art.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I don't think that one has anything to do with the other.
No. In fact, this is all stuff that was probably shot and decided on months ago. Gareth Nicholas, hypothetical scenario, the Montreal Screwjob never happened. Hitman went to WCW, only returned back in 2003. Would an injury-free Brett have had a successful second run similar to Shawn Michaels? I guess another hypothesis here is that Goldberg never kicked him in the head because that's what forced him to retire.
Would Brett have had a successful second run had he not retired? What's the age difference between Brett and Shawn?
Not sure.
Well, I mean, there's the thing that, like, there were moments in WCW with Bret Hart that I thought were pretty cool.
Brett would have been 46 in 2003. And,
oh God, Sean wasn't. So he was like what?
And Sean was 38.
So he was 8 years older. Bret Hart was.
Yeah,
it's kind of a big deal. I mean, it's kind of a big difference there.
Yeah.
I mean, given that, combined with Bret and the WWE not being on the same page until like years and years later. I mean, I don't know. It's possible they could have reconciled, in 2002 or 2003 or something. I guess it's possible they could have reconciled.
Maybe.
I mean, I think I don't think he would have had, obviously his like Mania match with Vince McMahon would have gone down a lot different. I don't know, but they probably would have reconciled before that. It wouldn't shock me. If he was still wrestling.
Screw job, if it was more of a amicable situation where Bret left, then I don't see any reason why he, unless he just didn't want to wrestle anymore, go back to WWE in 2003 or whatever.
Whatever happened. So he left
if he had
happy.
Not been hurt.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even see the part about the Montreal Screwjob never happened. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, he'd have come back. He might have come back. He might have made the invasion into a decent angle.
Entirely possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
Kyle Collier, how likely do you think a wrestlers' union will happen in light of recent events? And if not a union, maybe some kind of big shift in policy, maybe.
I'd be shocked if an actual union happened, but I also would be shocked if nothing changed over the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right. I'm pessimistic about the possibility of it happening simply because I don't know if enough wrestlers are into it.
Yeah, I don't even know if they want to do it.
But hopefully just the threat of unionization is enough to affect some change to provide them with a better working environment.
Yeah.
Lord Ziffer, now that the Seth storyline is seemingly wrapped up, they just kind of did that real quick, huh? Oh, here on SmackDown, we'll wrap up this storyline we've had going on for months.
It was a fun match, and the post match stuff with the Mysterios and Murphy was hilariously great. It was so funny. It was so funny.
Lord Ziffer asks, what do you see Murphy doing now till Mania? Is there gold in his future, or do you think he's just going to be in the Battle Royal, assuming they have one at Mania?
Man, I don't know. I honestly don't know. If Rey Mysterio wants to keep his family on TV, then Murphy's going to be right there with them. I mean, he basically accepted him into Familia at SmackDown. I don't know who's going to win this Seth versus Murphy match. When isn't Seth supposed to be leaving soon to be dad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's got to be pretty soon here.
You would hope. I really hope that Murphy's going to win this. But he's also Seth Rollins.
I know. Well, Seth's already beat Murphy once.
Yeah, they did a one-on-one, didn't they?
Yeah. Seth won that one.
I think it would do the world for Murphy, but then they have to follow through with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's in-ring talent, Buddy Murphy might be like a top 5 in-ring talent guy in WWE. He really is.
So good. He's so damn good.
And he's been good on the mic when given the opportunities. I'm not going to say he's like, amazing on the mic. But I don't know. I'm interested to see, but I don't know. I mean, the pessimist in me says that Murphy's going to he's going to sort of fall to the mid card, or like in the lower mid card. He's not going to be Tuckered, but he'll. I don't know.
Tyler Woodward says, "Here's an interesting question for you guys. So we all know that all sports have grassroots, such as rugby, football, and basketball. I think he means like for football, there's Pop Warner leagues, Little League for baseball, etc. Do you think pro wrestling will ever have a grassroots program, as most wrestlers have the dream of being a wrestler at a young age? Professional wrestling, probably not. Most schools from junior high upwards have amateur wrestling as one of the sports options. And, a lot of amateur wrestlers have gone on to become professional wrestlers. Because, you might not learn necessarily the fundamentals of professional wrestling if you're wrestling, amateurly, but you're going to learn the fundamentals of wrestling, which you can carry over to a degree.
You're more likely to get looked at if you succeed in amateur wrestling, for sure.
Combat Kev, in your opinion, what do you think has been the most shocking moment from pro wrestling this year?
Okay, take COVID out of things, and I guess take speaking out of things. Those are two pretty big shocking things.
Evil turning on LIJ.
Oh my God, Evil winning those titles. That was like, I don't even know. I guess I was shocked, but I was like, really?
I know.
Yeah, there was that. Let's see what chat says. Anybody?
Brody Lee decimating Cody for the TNT title.
Edge was pretty shocked. I mean, I know that it was like,
doesn't even seem like it was this year.
I know. No, so I was trying to go back to like pre-COVID, which seems like a completely different. When did the Fiend debut?
That was last year. That was
last year.
That's
Yeah,
SummerSlam
Becky being pregnant was pretty shocking. That was pretty shocking.
Yeah. Dalen Dula, you've just been contacted by Elon Musk. He and his friends are interested in investing in Rawgate technology, but still need some convincing before they pony up the money.
Oh,
what will be your proof of concept?
We filmed. It was done. It's We Book Raw. Just sit him down.
And what wrestlers do you recruit?
Rawgate Mutant.
Well, I mean, Rawgate Mutant just wasn't. He didn't exist. He was an amalgam of.
He was created.
Several wrestlers.
Well, Daniel Bryan, obviously. He's got the Flesh Mac.
Yeah, well, that's the counterbalance to Rawgate.
Yeah,
is Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, but if you get him on your side, you never have to risk him being whistleblower. God damn it, that stuff was funny.
It was really good.
I don't know.
We got a lot of really good stuff.
It was hilarious. Rawgate whistleblower. God damn it, that was so funny.
Good. It was so good.
Rawgate Mutant. What a great concept.
It really was.
Remember we had Jinder Mahal was Rawgate Mutant Hunter?
Yeah, until he got absorbed.
And then he got absorbed.
Joshua Culver, you guys trying to land more interviews? Your interviews with the Good Brothers and Dark Side of the Ring were both fun and different than a typical interview format. Yeah. That's something we're definitely interested in. Landing more interviews because both of those went really well. We had a lot of fun doing them. Mm-hmm. I think historically speaking, we've never considered ourselves interviewers, but like anything else, more reps, you get more comfortable, and ultimately you'll do better. But I thought the last two we did both went really well.
It's just good for the channel. It's good for the show to do that. So, and by the way, I'm actually kind of shocked. Today's news beef, what happened over the weekend? Some breaking news. Season 3 of Dark Side of the Ring. Got some new details about that. They confirmed a couple of topics. Pillman, WCW North Korea, and Jake the Snake Roberts and his family. Those are all topics that were confirmed. Who confirmed them? Going in Raw. In an interview with the creators of Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah.
Got the scoop. What else went down in that interview? You guys need to be watching that.
It was a really fun chat. They're both filmmaking guys. They both made films. And
they're actual filmmakers.
Actual filmmakers, unlike us who just went to film school and tried and didn't get that far. So just on that level, it was nice to talk to them professional in terms of professional wrestling. And I know one of our first questions we wanted to ask, and they kind of answered it in the course of the conversation, was what kind of influenced the visual style of the film. And when they said the thin blue line, I was like,
as soon as he said thin blue line, I was like, that makes total sense.
Makes all the sense, even down to the music and the titles and all that. Yeah. It makes all the sense in the world. And it was great to get that, and it's a point of reference that we all understood. And when they started talking about the Kevin Von Erich interview and how he felt like he's being healed by nature, I was like, oh yeah, it's like a very Terrence Malick thing. And they're like, yes. So it was fun to talk to him, not just about the wrestling aspect of stuff and the topics they cover on the show, which is great unto itself, but talking about their inspirations, their approach to the show, references to other films and filmmakers along the way. A lot of fun. Definitely check it out. It's long, but it's well worth the watch.
I was fascinated by the casting process. They film them behind like a foggy window or something like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was really great because it was honestly like my favorite interview we've ever done.
Same.
Including the time when I got too close to Kyle O'Reilly.
I feel like we probably could have talked another hour easily.
No, I know, me too. I know, I agree totally. Like I was not even close to being done, but I was like, an hour is good enough. An hour is good enough.
Yeah. Fear and Loathing, would you guys accept jobs on Mars to run its first wrestling federation? What wrestlers would you try to recruit?
Rawgate Mutant.
Of course.
Obviously.
Yeah. Beal Armstrong.
You'd have an inside scoop on the Mars wrestling scene.
Another great story from our wrestling.
Beal Armstrong. God
endeavors.
dang, man. God damn it, it was so good. When are you gonna start coming over? We gotta do that for some patrons, man.
Yeah.
We gotta bring it back. Get your butt over here. Just wear a goddamn mask. We'll get tested. When are they gonna do the test where you just like that and then it's good.
The home test? I know. Hopefully
something like that. Let's get one of those. I want to play some. The other day when somebody asked, hey, do you guys missing being next to each other? At first I was like, no, not really. But I was like, man, I miss playing video games. That was actually really fun.
That was fun. Because a lot of times we come with ideas and not tell each other.
Yeah, I know. My favorite was just like when you're doing fun wrestling was I'll just throw in stories for the wrestlers and then you just have to adapt. You have to improv your way out of it.
Well, that was the thing with Beal Armstrong. You mentioned the Martian Parasite. I was like, oh, I know where I can take this. It's good. But then like whoever that was pregnant.
Yeah.
It's like, mm-mm.
Yeah, you got to shut that down. But, that keeps you on your toes. It's great.
Yeah. For me, whatever you would tell me, I'd allude to your booking decisions and try to spoil stuff for you.
Yeah, it was great. That was awesome.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. We'll end on this one. Blaze Carroll, if Andrew Yang does get into position to address the contracted worker situation, could these wrestlers come back and sue WWE for lost revenue or wrongful termination?
You're asking the wrong people. Don't know. No idea.
Don't know. No idea on that. No clue.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's the way to end the show, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. Andy Jocelyn says, I miss your dumb WWE 2K19 stuff. I kind of miss your old office, too. I don't miss being at the we needed to have the office to show us that we really don't need the office. I mean, it was cool to have, but I really enjoy being at home. So
yeah, it's especially given the circumstances where the kids are at home doing their school stuff. It's really beneficial to be here.
I just feel like I get a lot, we get so much more done. Like, honestly, pandemic it's been kind of eye-opening in terms of, hey, now we've got this Twitch thing because we do our recaps right after the show, and that's where a lot of people are on Twitch. It's just, it's I think it's sort of helped us understand how to run the business better from a production standpoint.
Totally. Mm-hmm. So Zondo has an interesting punishment idea. Loser has to eat a Survivor Series of increasingly hot wings. That, or you have to eat a single burger, a double, triple, a quad, and like a 5-patty one. That sounds
that's way too much. Somebody mentioned, I don't know who it was, somebody asked to eat an onion like an apple.
Yeah, I saw that too.
More
likely just to start crying.
That's too much. We'll figure something fun out, though. We'll figure something out. All right, that's it for the show. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. We will be live with our recap of Monday Night Raw tonight, right after the show, and then that goes live on via VOD on YouTube shortly after, and in the audio realm. Of course, if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, do us a favor, leave us a rating, review, or a comment. If you're watching us on YouTube, please leave us a comment. Let us know what you thought about anything we talked about today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.